Hello everyone, it's your favorite realtor, Erica Hernandez with Houston Top Realty. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate all the support. On today's video, we're talking all things residential home fires. If you would like to learn more, please stay tuned. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media at Erica Houston Realtor, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. And go to my website at www.erikahoustonrealtor.com. All right, guys, so most of my topics are motivated by conversations I have with clients that week. On today's video, I'm talking about residential home fires. Number one, we'll talk about the 5 top causes for fires. Number 2, how to protect yourself as a home buyer or current homeowner. And number 3, we'll talk about all things fire insurance. All right, guys, so number 1, we're going to talk about the top 5 causes of fires. According to the National Fire Protection Association, the top 5 causes for fires: number 1 is cooking. Number 2, heating equipment. Number 3, electrical distribution. Number 4, lighting equipment. And number 5, smoking and intentional fires. All right, so the last one, smoking and intentional fires, is just people intentionally cause houses to catch on fire. And of course, any smoking inside is super dangerous for the inside of the home as far as fires are concerned. If you notice, the number 1 cause is cooking. It is so easy as a cook myself to be distracted in the kitchen. You could cause a fire when you're cooking, or too much grease in the kitchen. There's a lot of ways that cooking actually causes fires. As far as heating equipment, we're talking little space heaters. Possibly if you do have a fireplace, those are known to cause fires. I actually have a personal story of a very close family member who lost their entire home due to something that went wrong with their fireplace. It was really sad to see the entire home went up in flames. They were not able to save the home. Most of the home was just charred down. I mean, it was a complete loss. We'll talk about insurance later, but you got to be careful with those fireplaces. Now, talking about lighting equipment, anything that is a light fixture in your home needs to be protected. One that pops up a lot is those recessed lighting. Apparently, they need to be fire rated. So normally you can check that with an inspector, and we'll talk about inspections later also. But there is a way to find out if those are fire rated. What happens is, on the other side of that recessed lighting, you have some exposure. Wherever you have your recessed lighting, whatever is over could potentially catch on fire. This is a big one that comes out in inspections. But you need to be careful that anything around the house, especially your closets, if the light is too close to your clothes, you need to make sure that it's protected. Just see the bulb and it's not protected by anything, and that's super common, but very dangerous. You need to have some kind of dome protection around that so that the heating doesn't get too close to your clothes and just catch on fire when you're not even home. I can go on and on, but I do want to move to number 2, which is how to protect yourself as a home buyer and a current homeowner. So as a home buyer, your inspection is going to be very important. You need to pay close attention to this. Most inspectors do know the current codes for fire. They will point out things like missing smoke detectors or something that is conducive to fire. For example, the one that I told you earlier with the light bulb being in the closet, just fully exposed and not protected. They do point those things out in your inspection. Now, the inspector is not there to check all things fire, but there are some things that they will point out to you, such as that. Another thing they point out to you is electrical stuff. So if they think something is totally wrong with your electrical distribution, which is one of the top causes for fires, they will let you know. The inspector will tell you the manufacturer name. Even if they don't, you should be taking photos of that electrical panel and researching back at home. I am a total nerd. I do this myself, and I have found some of these manufacturers, I research it and I'll read these panels are known to cause fires. And if that, right there, that is a red flag for me. I will not invest in a home that has that particular panel because of what I read. Make sure to listen to that inspector because he is going to give you tips about things that are pretty conducive. It is overwhelming when you're a first-time home buyer, but they will give you some tips, so listen to them. If you are a current homeowner and you are interested in having someone come out, you can definitely reach out to an inspector who's going to come and look at everything in your home. It's a good idea to always just have somebody come out and do that for you. There are two types of inspections. One is a full-blown inspection with a report, with details, pictures, all that good stuff, which is the most expensive one. And the second type of inspection is more of a consultation. So what you do is you call an inspector to come out and look at the property. They do the full-on inspection, except they're right there telling you what they see. It is your job to write notes and ask questions. They do not produce an actual inspection for you. They cannot be held liable for anything that you wrote down because those were your specific notes. So make sure you don't misinterpret what they're saying, but they can come out and walk you through the property and just in general check your home for anything concerning safety. That is the #1 priority for these inspectors. Make sure that when buyers are buying, that they're buying a house that is safe. Consider using an inspector if you're a current homeowner and to see, hey, is there anything conducive to fires here? Also, you should read up on it. Don't depend, like I said, don't depend on the inspector, but he's gonna point out some things. Research that electrical panel, make sure that nothing new, no new data has come out that they're known to cause fires or things like that. Make sure you invest time in reading articles. I am going to attach an article to this video so that you can read up on it as well. And of course, you can just go on Google and type in how to protect my home from fires. #3 is everything to do with fire insurance. So whether you are buying a new home or you are a current homeowner, I advise you to take a look at that insurance policy. Make sure that your house is insured from fires and ask all the questions. You guys are paying per year to these big insurance companies, and if you're not getting the phone and calling them and making them explain some things on your policy, then you're just throwing money away. These people are getting paid and you don't even give them a call once a year just to make sure what your insurance covers. You are just doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you're calling them, guys, and ask those questions. What is my fire protection? Are my contents protected in the event of a fire? Make sure you know what kind of fires are excluded from you being protected and your home being protected. If it's a particular type of reason that it caught on fire, does that mean you're not protected? You need to be asking these questions of what protection do I actually have from a fire? Briefly, I'll tell you from experience, I have had, like I said, a family member who lost their home to a fire. The insurance came out and researched and found out where the fire actually came from. Of course, they take time to research and all these other things and process your entire file, but you can either rebuild, and so they'll give you money to rebuild your home, or you can just choose to use the money to go buy a new home. One thing I do want to point out in that particular example, this family was able to get money for the value of their home. And the good thing is that they do give you the current market value of your home, not how much you bought it 20 years ago, but what the current value is. Since they do update that, I know you guys notice that your insurance kind of goes up every year. That's because as the values go up, they have to offer more coverage, and for more coverage, of course, they're going to raise your policy amount per year. To keep it short, that particular family, what they ended up doing is they took the money from the insurance and bought a house cash and just went ahead and kept the land. If possible, maybe down the line, they might sell the house that they bought cash and then choose to rebuild it back on their land. Something I want to point out that always freaks out people is when they do look at their policy and they see the coverage. For example, they bought the house for $300,000 and possibly the policy is only for about $250,000, maybe $275,000. In some cases, they will cover it for $300,000. When you do see that the policy coverage is lower, that's because when you purchase the house for $300,000, think about it, it's split in two ways. How much is the land worth? How much is your house worth? So somehow they calculate and determine what the value of just the home is. The reason they do that is because the land is worth, I don't know, let's just say in that example, the land that you bought on was $50,000 and the house was worth $250,000. So you only need coverage for $250,000. At the end of the day, the person that decides is actually your lender. They want to see specific coverage amounts for your home and things like that. So it's not like you can choose how much. They definitely want to see a certain number. But all I'm saying is that if you see something lower than what you bought your house for, it is because your land is worth something, a portion of that. Full disclosure, I'm not a fire expert by all means. This is just information that I read up on, information that I see from clients, from family members, examples, things that happen, things that I see on the news. I mean, I feel like I've seen multiple times on the news apartment complexes that caught on fire or somebody's home that caught on fire. One that I didn't talk about was like when lightning strikes homes. I didn't touch on that because it's not the top 5 causes of fires, but you know, you have heard that too. You've heard that lightning strikes houses and they catch on fire. Again, going back to that inspection, they will tell you how to protect your home by grounding it. As you guys might be aware, you do have to ground your electrical panel, and now new code says that your gas meter also has to be grounded. So those tips are given to you by, again, your inspector, someone who is up to date on any codes, any protection, any safety things. Make sure you consider hiring an inspector who knows all these codes and new rules and things like that. All right, guys, stay safe away from fires. Make sure you're protecting yourself, your family, your home. Make sure you have a fire route in the event that it does happen. You already have a plan of which way you're going to get out of the house. Practice it every now and then. You guys see it. Elementary schools, middle schools, I don't know if high schools do it, but normally kids and teachers, they practice in the event of a fire, how to evacuate the building. They time them every single time. Did we make our time? You're talking people's lives. So make sure you're practicing it. I know it sounds super, super cheesy to like just do a fire drill at home with your kids. They do it at school. So why not tell them, hey, this is just practice. You know how you do that at school? Super easy. We're going to do it, you know, once a year, maybe twice a year. Who knows? I mean, I feel like once is enough, once a year. Make it a fun activity for you and your family. But it is a very serious topic, so take it very serious. Don't let them play around and run. If you practice it, you know, they will not panic, and hopefully this will save a life. All right, guys, I gotta run. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share this with anybody you know. I appreciate all the support. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching.